So Keith Thurman. He did a video on Instagram, but then it was an article on boxing.com where him going into detail saying he wants transparency. He wants transparency on Fundora's injury. Says the postponement seems optimistic. He says that Fundora team said the hand injury will be about 3 weeks. He said if it's, he said, it's times that when he fought Josito Lopez and Manny Pacquiao, I think versus Lopez, he said he had 3 or 4 cortisone shots in his hands. Versus Manny Pacquiao, he had 5 cortisone shots in his hands. So he says it's basically if his injury only needs 3 weeks to heal, he doesn't consider that a major injury. He can give him a referral to his doctor. So he's basically saying foul play in the game. Of course, it's been a lot of foul play about Sebastian Fundora from the Lubin fight and keeping the glove on. Now, had he cut the glove on and was like, I had an injury, but he did address it. I forgot what he said about keeping the glove on, but he did address it like immediately. Like he came on the Boxing Voice, and I think he got a lot of people's respect when he addressed it immediately. Like a lot of times you let shit marinate. I think it's best never to address it if you let it marinate too long, or it's best to address it right then and there. And I think a lot of relationships, in general fall at the wayside for assuming. And that's one of the things about human nature that I really don't care for, that we assume. We assume way too much instead of just getting it out the way and asking. You know what I'm saying? And I think, fear is what's, people, a lot of times you have a question about somebody, just ask it, You think they stole something, you think they did something wrong, or you think they doing something, just straight up ask them. Parents do that shit too, and they think their kids doing drugs, and they wait and they let it simmer instead of just asking flat out. And a lot of times, addressing things directly, it takes a lot of stress off of you, instead of beating around the bush and addressing it directly. And that's just the God's honest truth. But for him, he addressed it directly, so it kind of went over. People ask, he's 6'7", making 154 pounds. How is he doing it? And this cancellation, claiming to be a hand injury, and Keith Thurman don't even know what's next. Keith Thurman don't know if it's a postponement. He was talking about the postponement makes me optimistic that he said the postponement makes me optimistic that we're going to have a fight. I'm like, wow. So when, you must have learned, like damn near the rest of us learned, that he injured his hand. Right? I said, damn, he must have learned like we learned. Right? And for him not to have no transparency, that just lets you know how PBC operate and how boxing is like the wild, wild west. Like if I injure myself, the manager tell the event runners should tell the fighter, the event runner should also tell the fighters, his management. They should tell the sanctioning belt bodies and so on. This just lets you know this business is not built to make money. It's not built to be fruitful because the structure of the business is trash. Because how am I participating in a fight, which is going to be the livelihood to feed my family, and I don't have any transparency about what's going on? And this is why I tell you, a lot of these dudes be fighting with one hand behind their back, or sometimes both hands behind their back, figuratively speaking, because a lot of these guys be popping high and they sweep it under the rug. All sports are rigged. Let me say that first and foremost. If you think the Simpsons can guess current events in the world, they know what's going to happen. The government shut down. They knew what they was doing when they did that. The whole situation in 2020, they knew what they did when they was doing that. To me, it's at some point that I think people is going to have to revolt. But one of the reasons why people won't revolt is because Brad got people thinking that we all different. They got the Native Americans thinking they different from the Indians from overseas, and the Indians overseas thinking they different from the Japanese, and the Japanese thinking they different from the Chinese, and the Chinese think they different from the melanated people. We all got some type of color. It's only one people who don't have color on their skin. So let that fucking sink in for a minute, and who the real enemy is, you know. But you know, the trend, you know, for you to be a fighter in this let you know these companies are not ran with any structure, bro. Boxing is not ran for any structure. Boxing is not ran to turn $1 into 5 and 5 into 20 and 20 into 100 and 100 into a stack and a stack into 5 stacks and 5 stacks to 50 stacks. And they ain't meant to level up. That's why when I heard Eddie Hearn, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna address something else Keith Thurman said. This is when I heard Eddie Hearn say that, boxing, unlike the UFC, the majority of the money goes to the fighter. No, the fuck it don't. If you you're crazy if you believe that. You're crazy if you believe that. Them fat rats feed theyself first. Let me tell you that, man. The boxers don't make more money, not on a consistent basis. Mayweather ain't make more money than Al Heyman did. Guaranteed it, bro. That's not a true statement, bro. I guarantee you. And, you know, I guarantee you, bro, that's not a true statement. Think about if it's 20 fighters fighting on the undercard, they got a piece of that. They get a promotional fee. They get a piece of that. They get a piece of that. The event, the people, the networks that put the money up, they give it to the promoter first. This is why they hated Turkey Al-Sheikh coming in, because what did Turkey do? Turkey would negotiate directly with the fighters. So it ain't no, okay, we gonna give you 10 million for Virgil to fight Jerron. We gonna give you 12 for Jerron to fight Virgil. What you think Oscar tell Virgil? Okay, man, they gonna give you 8 to fight Jerron. What you think Eddie turned Jerron? All right, they gonna give you 9 to fight him. What you think the other 3 and the other whatever from the Virgil? What's going in the promoter's pot? They dirty, bruh. They dirty. I remember they this chick, right? Her mom used to get weed. This before like shit was legal. It's like 09. Her mom used to get she used to get weed in like boat. Like O's and, you know, Afies. I don't know all that shit. I ain't a weed guy. And she used to just pinch off the top of her mama weed where she wouldn't notice. She would get enough where she ain't notice. And eventually her mom probably knew what was going on. But it wasn't noticeable when she was pinching off the weed. You know what I'm saying? They do the same thing, bro. They pinch off these niggas' bags. That's why they said, well, 2 fighters never sat at the table before and made a deal, because they be taking your money before it get to you. They tax it before they get a middleman fee. Be telling y'all that shit. Y'all be believing what Brad be saying, Brad Hearn? Absolutely not. But for Keith Thurman not to have any transparency on this, and not to know we don't know what's going on as far as the postponement, is it canceled? And for the most part, he could have got injured in camp, for real. I know rumor is Mazaliev knocked him out before the Lubin fight. So I don't think it's nothing like that. They still fought Lubin. You know what I'm saying? Did he get pop hot and they swept it under the rug? Was it the ticket sales? That's what you got to ask yourself. Because you think about it, he avoided Xander Zayas for no apparent reason. He avoided Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, no apparent reason. Could have got money. What's the transparency? What you scared to negotiate? What you scared to happen? That's what I want to know. Told you it's fishy. And Keith Thurman got a family. He's trying to feed his family and shit. So of course it's fishy, dog. Dude. Hey, tickets probably wasn't selling, or dude popped hot on the low. So they canceled it. They knew he was going. I already know what it is. I think it was the ticket sales, to be real. But Keith Thurman, like I said, he don't even know if it's postponed or if it's a wrap on that. So to me, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. But that's the game. That's the game, bro. That's the game, man. So you active participant in the fight and you don't know what's going on. You just like the rest of us. And this is why they don't want Dana and Turkey. They bring transparency. They don't want to know how much money they stealing from y'all and how they doing y'all dirty, bro. They doing y'all dirty as fuck. And people that want to stay in the matrix, they feel protected by the matrix because if they get in the real world, they know they gonna be fraudulent. A genuine person ain't never scared to be genuine. These guys are fraudulent. From the Virgil Ortiz to the Jerron Ennises to these motherfuckers to the Charlos. A lot of these people are fraudulent. Even Earl Smith was a fraudulent motherfucker, bro. And then his ego, he let his ego get the best of him to veer off the plan that Al had. Adrian Broner, he let his ego, he's just a real nigga. I hate to say it, he's just a real nigga. Broner got nuts. He's like, man, I ain't no bitch nigga. I'm gonna go fight this Madonna guy regardless. And he said, I'll do it again. If you had to ask Earl Spencer some real nigga shit, but a lot of time when he fight Bud again or he listen to Al, he'd listen to Al. Respectfully. Most people ain't genuine, bro. You might come across a handful of genuine people at this point. Everybody looking to get theirs. Everybody looking to justify being a fuck bitch, a fuck nigga. That's what it is. They gonna justify why they a hoe ass nigga. Nobody is genuinely happy for when you do well. Nobody is genuine person no more. Nobody want to see everybody win. Most people just want to see them win and see y'all under them, not win more than them. That's a fact. I heard somebody make a statement. The only man that want to see you do better than him is your father. I disagree with that statement. I disagree. I see young bucks. I had homies I love to see level up. Wasn't no hating shit. Wasn't no, take me with you. No, man, I want to see you win. I feel like as long as I'm good, like I really ain't tripping. And if I ain't good, I have to figure that out. It ain't up to no another man, another person to figure that shit out. But people feel like you owe them, bruh. Don't no man owe you shit. Even your father, he gave you life. They don't owe you nothing. So appreciate y'all. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree. You can find me everywhere. Peace.